These are my far too early Bad Blood predictions. Okay, yes, I know Bash in Berlin is right around the corner, but I can't help but look ahead to the PLE event live in Georgia. Like, it's been 20 years since we last saw Bad Blood in WWE, and it really does seem like it's going to be a can't-miss show from WWE. But before we break it all down, make sure you leave a like on this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and turn those notifications on so you never miss another upload. Now, let's get into this thing. So obviously, to talk about Bad Blood, you got to talk about the upcoming pay-per-view Bash in Berlin. And while I do have an entire predictions video coming out that is going to give my in-depth thoughts and feelings on the matches, here's what I think's going to happen very quickly and how it might impact the Bad Blood card. So very quickly off of the matches we already know, I have Dom and Liv defeating the Terror Twins with Finn Balor's help. I have CM Punk defeating Drew McIntyre to tie up the series. Cody Rhodes will defeat Kevin Owens, but something shady will happen where either Kevin Owens' foot is on the rope or under the rope, or it's a roll-up or something a little shady, and Owens is going to turn heel on Cody Rhodes. So here we go. The stage is set going into Bad Blood. And I think Bad Blood is going to have a common theme across the card, and that is going to be of betrayal. Every single match on this card is going to have some sort of overarching theme of you betrayed me, you stabbed me in the back, you name it. So I think the card is going to look a little something like this. Finn Balor versus Damien Priest, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the World Championship, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Undisputed Championship, and Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa for the Ula Fala in Bloodline Rules. So let's start right here with Damien Priest versus Finn Balor. We get to this matchup because, as mentioned, Finn Balor is going to cost Rhea Ripley and Damien Priest the matchup, and bolder pick, I think Dominic Mysterio is going to end up pinning Damien Priest, which is going to just be a whole other part to this story. But we're going to roll into this matchup here, and I think that what we need to see is Damien Priest just truly show he is a former world champion, that he is a main eventer, and that he's not dropping down this card. Like, he needs to have a dominant performance in this matchup against Finn Balor if this is the match that ends up happening at Bad Blood. And the reason being is because coming off of that loss there at Bash in Berlin, Damien Priest needs to reestablish himself as like a true threat to the rest of the division. He's not going to be sticking around doing Judgment Day stuff for that much longer. The goal has to be to re-elevate that man to the main event scene. Even another feud against Gunther would be great, but there's lots of opportunities for Damien Priest moving forward out of this Judgment Day stuff. So Finn Balor, Damien Priest one-on-one may not be the last matchup that we see between the two. It might honestly be a trilogy, but I do believe Damien Priest needs to pick up a clean win over Finn Balor in this one. So my official prediction is Damien defeats Balor. And then we go on to the other side of the coin here with the Judgment Day, as we are going to roll into Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Again, the common theme of betrayal will be here throughout every single one of these matches. And this entire feud has been built around Liv Morgan's revenge tour and Rhea Ripley looking to, well, get her own revenge on Liv for Liv taking everything from Rhea. And I don't see Rhea Ripley getting that title back. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Liv Morgan's going to hold on to this thing for a long time, and it makes sense to just keep having her escape after escape after escape in these world championship matches. She doesn't need to be booked strong to be an effective champion. In fact, there's been so many heel champions in the history of WWE that have been booked poorly, weak if you will, but have actually been good slimy champions as a result. And I think Liv Morgan needs to be this slimy champion that she has been. But you can't get people to care about Liv Morgan unless you actually give her a true win over her rival. I still think it needs to be in a slimy way. So how do we get that slimy momentum with Liv Morgan? Reintroduce a former tag team partner of hers, a big bad gal named Raquel Rodriguez. I can see Raquel and Liv being this generation's Diesel and Shawn Michaels for the women's division. It could work so well if they do this right. Liv Morgan needs a bodyguard. Let's just say it. She needs a bodyguard. Dominic needs a bodyguard. And Raquel could thrive in that position, because imagine if not only do you have Liv Morgan as champion, but what if you get Raquel versus Rhea on the main roster. That's a money match. And that could even be like a Survivor Series matchup. That could even be like, if they wanted to build it enough, it could be a huge rivalry going into the Royal Rumble. There's so many opportunities here with Raquel Rodriguez alongside a Liv Morgan side. So I am going to say Liv Morgan defeats Rhea Ripley, retains the Women's World Championship, but it's all thanks to Raquel Rodriguez. Now on to CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. And this one is incredibly difficult to predict because it might not actually end up happening. It might not be a Hell in a Cell match. It might not be a trilogy. They might just have Drew McIntyre walk all over CM Punk, beat him in the strap match, and beat him 2-0 in the series. That could happen. However, I've watched enough wrestling, and you've watched enough wrestling to have an idea that this is going to be a trilogy. And I see CM Punk walking out of Bash in Berlin with the dub right here. It's a 4 corners matchup, meaning all they have to do to win is touch the 4 corners. That's not a definitive end to this rivalry. You need a pinfall, a true, honest-to-God pinfall with no outside interference, no special guest referee, nothing like that. Hell in a Cell is where it needs to end. We need to see this between Punk and McIntyre at Bad Blood. Now, to get through this matchup, I have no idea who should walk out with the win. Part of me says it should be Drew McIntyre because Drew McIntyre is the younger star and he has been on an amazing run. So maybe it's warranted in giving Drew McIntyre the victory in the series over CM Punk. But it's also CM Punk. And CM Punk's drawing power is still massive. And if we're looking to build up Punk versus Rollins at WrestleMania, you gotta take CM Punk seriously. And he might need to win this feud in order for him to be taken seriously again. I don't know. I feel like Drew McIntyre does need this win, but so does CM Punk. And unless we get something spooky, like, I don't know, the ending of Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose inside Hell in a Cell where a hologram pops up in the middle of the ring, I don't know how we get out of this feud without it hurting one person or the other. There's ways to do it. Am I the guy to tell you how to do it? No, I don't think so. If I was, I probably would have a job with WWE. But I feel like both guys in this need the win. So you're going to have to let me know down in the comments section, how would you book CM Punk and Drew McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell for their rubber match? Like, this is it. This is all the marbles here. They need to figure out who should go over. My mind says CM Punk because they want to push him up that card and maybe face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But Drew McIntyre deserves it as well. It's a very tough match to predict. I'm going to say CM Punk. But continuing on with Betrayal, here comes Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes. And we have seen recently on Friday Night SmackDown, Kevin Owens start to reintroduce the prize fighter character. And I imagine the prize fighter character is going to come onto full display for everybody once again at the end of Bash in Berlin. Cody Rhodes offered Kevin Owens a matchup for the championship, and Kevin Owens originally declined it. He didn't want it. Why, you ask? Because, well, Cody Rhodes is his friend, and he knows what that championship does to his friendships. He knows he goes sour when he's the prize fighter, and that's why he didn't initially want it. But after a week of waiting, Kevin Owens started to think, he's like, why would I turn down a title match? That's not me. That's not who I am. Then slowly reintroducing the pop-up powerbomb as a finisher, and then hitting the or at least going to hit the powerbomb on the ring apron, which is very synonymous with his NXT Black and Gold days. Kevin Owens is becoming the prize fighter again, and I am going to guess that at the end of Bash in Berlin, he does turn heel on Cody Rhodes, which is going to set up this match here at Bad Blood. Again, the common theme, betrayal. We need to have a betrayal for this match to happen at Bad Blood, and Kevin Owens stabbing Cody Rhodes in the back is certainly one way to make it happen. Now, rolling into this matchup, this is not going to be Kevin Owens' night. It's going to be Cody Rhodes getting one back over on Kevin. It's just as simple as that. It's going to be a clean victory in the center of that ring. This is not a long-term feud that's going to be told, but it's going to start the descent into madness for Kevin Owens. He is going to become more dangerous because of this feud, and that's exactly what the mid-card needs. That's exactly what someone like LA Knight needs. Yeah! Like, can you imagine LA Knight versus Kevin Owens? Babyface LA, heel Kevin Owens writes itself for that United States title. But I'm so here for Cody Rhodes defeating Kevin Owens clean. It should be a great matchup, and it should just help develop this character of Kevin Owens into the future. So official prediction, Cody beats Kevin clean. Then let's roll into what I think is probably going to be the main event. Now, I may be way off base with this, and it could end up being like CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. It could end up being a championship match, but I believe the Ula Fala is the most important thing going on in WWE right now. It is more important than championships after you saw Roman Reigns literally shove the tag team title out of the way to grab the red Ula Fala on SmackDown. It is absolutely the most important thing in Roman Reigns' world right now, and it is certainly the most important thing in Solo Sikoa's world. So this is a massive, massive matchup that has incredible implications for the rest of the Bloodline storyline. However, how is it going to happen? How do we get to this finish? Where are we going with it, and what's the purpose of this matchup? I think it's going to be Bloodline rules, everybody. It is absolutely going to be Bloodline rules here for the Ula Fala and the only tribal chief, the one true chief, whatever OTC actually stands for, it is going to be for that title. Now, Roman Reigns probably should win this thing on paper, right? It makes a lot of sense for Roman to beat Solo Sikoa after Solo Sikoa essentially stabbed him in the back, stole his title, and then was parading around pretending he was the tribal chief. And of course, also taking back the Ula Fala at the end of SmackDown there and leaving Roman Reigns lying just with his eyes wide open. So, you know, Solo probably also needs the win, but Roman has just come back, and this is Roman Reigns we're talking about. This dude is about to go on the run of a lifetime as a pure babyface. I don't think there's any reason to give Solo Sikoa this win. The final image should be Roman Reigns lifting up that Ula Fala and putting it back on him. However, oh my God, there's two ways we can go with this. So we could either go with Roman Reigns lifting up the Ula Fala after beating Solo Sikoa and beating him very, very clean in that matchup. And as he goes to put the Ula Fala back on him, the Bloodline attacks him again, just like we've seen before. And this could be where Jimmy Uso makes the save. We could finally get Jimmy Uso coming back, chasing off the rest of the Bloodline, and then Jimmy putting the Ula Fala on Roman Reigns and acknowledging him as a result. That would be incredible because that would start our build towards Survivor Series, which, again, if we're really predicting the future here, I think Survivor Series is going to be Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and yes, Sami Zayn versus the new bloodline of Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu. I think that we're going to see that 4-on-4 matchup there, but I'm getting ahead of myself right now because we need Jimmy Uso to actually come back and acknowledge Roman Reigns once again, and we need Jimmy Uso to be the one convincing Roman Reigns to go over to Raw and to get back Jey Uso and to bring back Sami Zayn to help fight this new bloodline. But the other part of me is saying, where's the story with that now, right? Like, if Roman's already got the Ula Fala back, what's the rest of the story, right? Wouldn't the rest of the bloodline have to fall in line and truly acknowledge him? So part of me wonders, do they have Solo Sikoa beat Roman Reigns here? If they did that, if they actually had Solo Sikoa defeat Roman Reigns in a Bloodline Rules matchup, and yes, you could have a million different things happen on the outside of the ring, and you had the final image of like Tama Tonga putting the Ula Fala over Solo Sikoa and them acknowledging him, dude, that would leave Roman in such a bad state where he would have to swallow his pride and have to go get Jey Uso and have to bring back Jimmy Uso. There's so many deep things that could happen with that result right there, but I do believe this is going to be the culmination of this arc of the story. It's not going to be the continuation of it. I think it's going to be the end of Roman Reigns trying to get the Ula Fala back, but then we start the next segment of the Bloodline War. So, in the end, I say Roman Reigns defeats Solo Sikoa and brings back that Ula Fala, but legit, it could go either way. But those are obviously my far too early predictions for Bad Blood. Who knows if that's even going to be the card, but let me know your really, really early predictions down in the comments below, as I'm very interested to see what everybody else thinks of the direction of WWE. I want to try doing this more often for future pay-per-views, so we're going to look into the future and try to guess where the booking is going from where we're at right now and see if we're right in the future, because we can always dial these videos back and take a look in a month time or 2 months time or whatever it may be to take a look back back and see if our predictions were right. But before we leave, make sure you leave a like on this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and turn those notifications on, as I literally upload wrestling content every single day. So there's not a day that goes by where you won't see wrestling content on this channel. It's great. I love doing it. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys very, very soon.